It has been an unknown year since the Human Rights Proper Use Act was implemented. Individuals who possess human rights enjoy a life of prosperity in the city, while those who lack such a rights are subjected to being displayed as pets in show window or exploited for labor experimentation and even as a source of meat. They are poor creatures living in a different world from other. What's good, everyone? We're back at it again. Hope you're all doing well. Just a reminder, if you're having a tough day, don't forget it's just a bad day, not a bad life. Today, we're recapping a manga that I think is pretty cool. It's called You Have No Human Rights. The main idea is that if humans aren't useful to society anymore, they get turned into slaves or human livestock. If you're curious, be sure to watch this video. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The story kicks off with a group of school kids chatting away. Our main dude, Michio Toru, and his BFF Kanda Kippei, are on a mission to find a restaurant. As they are walking, Toru spots a stunning livestock girl on display, and he looks pretty bummed about it. One of his friends comments that the girl is going for a super cheap price, and Toru immediately calls him out for being insensitive and saying it right in front of the girl. Turns out, the girl is actually Toru's neighbor and childhood friend who's been sentenced to be a livestock. His friend is confused by Toru's defensive behavior towards a livestock, and Toru's all like, "Dude, she used to be human just like us." But his friend is all, "Nah, once a livestock, always a pet." Kippei, who's been listening in, chimes in and says that our way of thinking isn't necessarily the norm. The friend then pieces out, saying he's got important business to attend to. So, Toru and Kippei decided to grab a bite at a fancy restaurant, but Toru was hesitant because he thought they wouldn't let school kids in. But Kippei was all, "Chill, I got this." And, dude, the waiter greeted Kippei like they were old friends. Turns out, Kippei's parents are super rich and famous, especially his dad, Todo Kisaburo. Toru was shocked to find out about Kippei's family. Kippei wanted to take Toru to this fancy restaurant, and when Toru asked if it was because of him or the restaurant, Kippei said it was both. Inside the restaurant, they saw rich people with their pets, and Toru felt bad seeing that. Kippei told him not to worry, saying they were lucky to be there, but Toru still couldn't shake off the feeling. Kippei then said, "Hey, why not just take their place? We're different from them, anyway." Upon establishment of the Human Rights Proper Use Act, the Ministry of Justice has established the Human Rights Proper Use Committee. Every citizen who reached the age of 17 receives a suitability result from the committee, which is delivered in the form a single letter. The outcome stated in the letter will determine whether as they are classified as human or livestock. After a long chat, Toru and Kippei headed home. When Toru arrived, his mom greeted him with a paper in her hand, the results of his human rights test. His mom was confused because Toru was freaking out about what the letter said. She was like, "Chill, kiddo, you're not gonna be livestock or anything. Both your parents are humans, so you're good." His dad also took a look at the results. Toru was nervous, but he trusted his best friend Kippei, who said they were different from livestock. So, he opened the letter. And the whole house was shocked. The results said Toru wasn't worthy of being human. Yeah, it was a wild moment. So, Toru was still in shock after reading the letter, and he told his parents that something was off about the results. His parents were stunned, and his dad went off on him, saying he thought Toru would turn out to be a decent human being, but instead, he was just livestock. Toru was like, "Hey, I'm still your son, no matter what the results say." But his dad was all, "If you were really our son, you wouldn't have gotten these results." Toru was still trying to wrap his head around all of this, wondering what he had done wrong for 17 years. He was about to make a run for it, but then he decided to call Kippei for help instead. Kippei agreed to help him out and told Toru to meet him at the park they had promised to visit. Kippei also gave him some weird advice, saying that if he didn't have time to make it to the park, he should just shout, "I'm the strongest." Toru was a bit confused by that, but he didn't have time to think about it. The people who were supposed to pick Toru up as livestock arrived at his house, and Keppei told him to hurry up and get out of there. Toru grabbed a pair of boarding shoes and made a break for his bedroom window, since he was cornered and had no other choice. Toru was on his way to meet up with Keppei when he stumbled upon a group of people chatting. He hid and listened in on their conversation, and it turned out they were from the committee that was picking up people like him to be used as livestock. One of the guys, Chibano Tetsuro, was with his girlfriend, but when she found out he was livestock, she started to distance herself from him. Tetsuro wasn't having it, though. He refused to accept his new status and pulled out a knife to threaten the committee guy. But before he could attack, the committee guy whipped out a tranquilizer gun and shot Tetsuro. Toru, who was watching the whole scene go down, freaked out even more. The committee guy then proceeded to beat up Tetsuro for fighting back, and Tetsuro's girlfriend, Rika, just stood there, looking at him like he was nothing more than an animal. Tetsuro begged Rika for help, but she just turned on him, seeing him as livestock too. Toru couldn't handle watching Tetsuro get treated like that, so he took off running. Like Tetsuro, he refused to accept his own status as livestock, and he was determined to fight back. Toru finally made it to the park, but he was only wearing socks since he had to make a quick escape from his house. When he got there, he witnessed another disturbing scene. A man was harassing a young girl in a school uniform. The guy was being super creepy, pulling the girl's shirt and checking her out. The girl was begging for help, and she spotted Toru hiding. Toru was torn. Should he help the girl or stay hidden and avoid getting caught? He was freaking out, but he couldn't just stand by and do nothing. The girl had given up hope, but Toru decided to take action. He came out of hiding and tried to stop the guy, punching him to save the girl. It was a pretty intense moment, and Toru was still trying to process everything that was happening. In the end, Toru's attempt to fight back didn't quite work out. He and the others, including the girl he had just saved, Haruki Miya, were caught by the committee. They were all thrown into a truck, where some people had given up and accepted their fate, while others were still trying to resist. Toru, feeling defeated, could only surrender to his situation. As they sat in the truck, Miya came over to thank Toru for saving her from the creepy guy earlier. Then, a tall guy with a friendly face approached them and thanked Toru for saving Miya too. It turned out that this guy, Moriitsuki, was Miya's best friend. They all introduced themselves to each other, but the question is what's going to happen to them now? Will they be able to survive this ordeal, or is their fate already sealed? That's all from this video. If you are curious about the continuation, there will be part 2. Or you can read the manga directly. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. See you guys in the next video.